Hi everyone, welcome to Zion Messages. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be talking about some cool things today. I have some baby bunnies that I didn't realize I was going to have, so I'm going to show you that since that's kind of fun and the story behind that. I've been doing some baking today. As you could tell, my shirt is crazy. I was outside because I'm a little bit red. I'm not used to having so much sun right now. And then I want to talk about conference and just a few things I learned and what I feel like touched me, and maybe you'll feel the same way, and talk a little bit about The Chosen again. I watched the next few episodes of The Chosen in theaters, so I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. Let's do this. But before we go outside to the bunnies, I'll show you what I've been doing here. So I've been making some bread for my family for the past couple months. We got so sick, like I said, this winter, and I just thought, I want to make some changes to our health. I've been down that path before where I've gone extreme, and I've had eating disorders, and I've talked about a lot on my channel, and I've just come so far, and how I've created such a better relationship with my body and being kind to myself, realizing balance, realizing that God has control, that I can't control it, and I don't put my value on the way my body looks. But now I'm doing it from a place of somewhere different than before, doing it from a place of love, wanting to care for my family and love them. So I thought to myself, I always want to be that person that makes bread more consistently, homemade. And out of all the things I could change, might as well start with bread. So I'm doing that. And I've always ground my own old whole wheat. I just grew up that way. My mom always did. And so I acquired her wheat grinder. She got a new one. She gave me her old one. And this thing is like older than me. And I've been grinding my own wheat. I'm actually getting a new one here soon for my birthday. I just had a birthday, and I'm getting this new one. And I'm excited for that. But it's just so important to probably take some of these preservatives out of our life and the toxins in there, and especially with bread. It hit me because I had one bag of bagels that they looked the exact same for about 2 months. They even felt the exact same, like they were still squishy, and they looked perfect. They like kind of got lost in my pantry, and I took them out. I'm like, there's nothing growing on this. This can't be okay for our bodies. If it's staying that nice looking for that long, there's probably so many preservatives in there. And yeah, and my daughter, she had gone through some sensitivity issues with her tummy, and I thought I'll start with that, see if it helps. And she hasn't had as many tummy aches, so maybe it is helping. I don't know. But here's my bread. I'm about to put this one in. This is a Pullman pan, and it is just a super jumbo pan. It's a Pullman brand, and it's been really nice. I've had it for a couple of months. So I'm gonna put this lid on it, and then I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the oven, and it's gonna be great. So you'll watch me do that while I talk to you. And I have another one already in there, since these both were rising at different times. Today it was just a big baking day. I've been trying to bake every week or 2 weeks. Oh boy. Well, the mishaps just happen as I speak. So I guess I'm not gonna keep the lid on it. This is my first time I'm experimenting with this. Oh my gosh, look at all, it doesn't want to stay put. Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh, well, I might as well take this out before it burns. Good thing the dough isn't too hot. I didn't realize I'd have live footage of drama to have you guys be able to watch. So it's still just pushing itself out a little by little. I don't know if I should even take it out. I don't know. But I've been doing, and that's one thing, if you're gonna experiment with bread, choose one recipe that's really good and people really like it, and just go run with it. Like, do that one over and over, tweak it little by little, and that's what this recipe has been for me. So last week I rose it too much, and it creates a hole in the center, and now this week it's raising too much again, and it doesn't like this lid. So we'll see how that goes. I think I'll press pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. It's cool that my iPhone can stop and pause things. So a bunch of this dough fell out. That's gonna go to the chickens. Here's my compost bin down there for them to, and just chicken bin. I think the trick was I needed to open it. You could tell I've opened it up a little bit. Now I'm just gonna leave that one alone. that's just not gonna be what I do next time, I guess. I think it's because I've done it successfully before when I made a sourdough loaf. I'm using yeast because I want to just really get good at yeast. The sourdough loaf is good, but it just took extra brain power. But I think I need to just get used to regular yeast. I'll do one thing at a time, like I've told you before. Like, you just have to choose one thing and do it over and over again. So I made these croutons. A few pieces are a little bird, but that's kind of what I did today. I'm making a meal for a gal that had a baby in our ward. And so I'm gonna give her some of the bread, croutons with the salad, and I made pot roast. So, and only because I have a day to do it. I don't have my kids today. They're doing fun stuff with dad. Really the whole day. So it's really nice. And I made this pot roast. And if I were to suggest any pot roast recipe, it would be Six Sisters recipe. So yeah, try that. Let me set a timer for this bread, the one I just put in. I think it's been like a few minutes there. Okay, so let's go see the bunnies. Ready? So I'll tell you the story as we go there. Now, the bunnies was a surprise. I didn't think my does were pregnant. So, like I told you in the last video, my two boys died. The two boy bunnies died. But I guess within the week before they died, they got one of my bunnies at least pregnant. I'm wondering if my other one is. And she'll have babies. So and it's been almost a month since they've died, but just that few days or that week before, they must have got pregnant because their gestation is 30 days. So I was getting bummed, thinking I was gonna have to get a new buck. It's hard to find a new sexually mature buck. Everyone wants to sell their 3 or 4 month old bucks. And but then that means I would have to wait till he's big enough, and then you have to wait a whole month until they have babies, and then finally then they would have babies. And I have babies in the fall. When I worked hard on this in the winter, and I was hoping to have spring babies, and guess what? I got them. I'm so lucky. Man, God is so good to me. So when I came out and saw that, since I was kind of devastated about losing them, but it's just part of the life. And I see this huge pile of fur in here. Can you see that? There are babies in there. I'll have to bring them out. So let's do that. Sometimes they make noises too. They're just so cute. And they're getting bigger. I can already tell. Yay. Oh, they're so sweet. Oh, they're so sweet. And they are getting fed by their mama. So that's kind of cool to just consistently be having. Okay, here they are. Look at that. Oh, they're so sweet. Look at that. They're getting a little bit more hair than they were before, so that's kind of nice. There are 4 of them. And so here are 2 of them. I feel like the other 2 are really snuggled up in there. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Oh, they're really nestled in there. The little babies. They love to wrestle around. Oh, they're just so sweet. Here's another. Oh, they're so fun. And the mama's nursing them, obviously, since they're so fat. Like so I'll tell you how many days. These are, see, this happened on Friday, and today is Wednesday. They are 4 or 5 days old. Maybe 6, because maybe I didn't see them for a little bit. But man, isn't life precious? I mean, they kind of, right now they're more, this is the most white I've ever seen them. They've grown some fur since, but this is definitely better than they used to look, because they used to have like just pink bodies, and they just looked like little rats. So it's just so fun to see them. Aren't they so cute? But we're gonna eat them, which is so weird to think. You know, my daughters are holding them and going, oh my gosh, Mom, they're so cute. And they were all so excited to see them. And then my husband goes, don't get too attached because you're gonna eat them someday. But yeah, that's the reality of it. But we try and take good care of them. It's part of why God's given us animals, for our benefit. And I'm just so grateful that it's some success on the homestead, on our little thing that we're doing here. And they're just super sweet and cute. The little babies, just 6 or 7 months old. These are New Zealand's. Woo! You're gonna hurt yourself, but he's fine, I guess. And then the mamas, they don't like to get out much. They are, if I can adjust my thing. I wish the camera would be able to turn, but they're over there. Say hi, mamas. One of them is the mama, so I'm hoping that maybe here in the next, it's really only another couple days, and then I think she's missed her window of opportunity that she really was pregnant. Yeah, because then that would have been too far away from when she was encountered by my past bucks. So really, if I have any more babies, it would be in the next couple days. Other than that, it'd be too long, and maybe I just have 1 litter, and I'm just grateful for that. So yeah, let's put them back. I've definitely made some enforcements of my thing here, because we are all secured from the dogs. I had to put some iron mesh, so I'll probably talk about that a little bit. I had to, you can see it kind of behind. You see this is chicken wire, and then there's another one behind there. I didn't have that before. Yeah, this will keep any of the dogs or anything out. And I have the whole bottom, like I've talked about, lined with that same iron mesh cloth, because then they will want to dig out the bunnies themselves. And as I could kind of tell, and I was thinking maybe one of the other mamas was gonna have a baby, she was kind of digging this hole right here, and then they've kind of dig some holes over here. But they eventually decided to use these buckets, which they did not use, as maybe some of you are wondering, as I've talked about before. Why did they not use those? That's because the corrugated pipe I put in was way too small. So I reached out to the guy that does this bunny thing, and I asked him what he does, and he has New Zealand's, and I've kind of followed what he's done to help me inspire me for what I'm going to do here. And he said he does 6-inch, and I think I put in 4 or 5-inch, and it makes sense, because one time I tried to push one of my does up that pipe. I put her in the igloo, and I let her in. I had her stay in there for like 5 or 6 hours, hoping that she would get the memo and then come up those tubes right here, which I have not buried yet, because we don't know if they're really taking to it and if I need to adjust things. So we just kind of left everything exposed. Everything's fine. No one's going to get out or get in through this fencing right here. But I guess they could really yank off that. But anyway, it's not going to happen. The dogs aren't that strong, and this isn't going to be forever until we figure it out. That I put her in there and just let her sit there, hoping and kind of squishing her in there, and her fat little butt just kept sticking out, and this cute little white fat butt, she just stayed there. She's like, this isn't gonna happen. I'm way too big for this. So I thought that was kind of funny, that they're obviously telling me that's not big enough, and they're not going to use it as a nesting area, and they're just using this, which is fine. This is the entrance to it, but eventually I'll show you when that works out. Maybe I'll even I'll show you next time I'll come out here, when I actually do have another litter that they had taken to it, and I have these more covered up. I don't have the lids covered up, but everything else will be more covered up with the dirt, and it keeps it more temperature stable. That's the whole point of having these igloos in the ground, and that they're igloos themselves, because they will regulate themselves. When it needs to be warm, they will stay warm. When they need to be cooler, they will stay cooler. Especially with bunnies, they just do not do well in the heat. So right now is the perfect time for them, or in the winter. They love the winter, but I think they would overheat if they were out in these bins. Like, these orange bins are really actually taking quite a bit of heat in from this light, and I'm thinking about putting some more shade cloth here to help them out. I know my chickens would appreciate that. They've been super chatty and happy these days though, and giving me about 12 eggs per day. It's been really fun. So I just can't get through it. So I need to sell some more, but it seems like, at least where I'm at, everyone has chickens, so it's hard to sell it. Not hard, but I'm just not wanting to go through the effort of really trying as much as I'd rather, I guess, go through the effort of putting those eggs through my freeze dryer. And I think maybe those have really watched me for a while. I did do some freeze drying stuff, and I want to show you something here in a second. And anyway, I had stopped about a year ago since we started selling our other house. Then we moved here, and then I've been doing stuff here for the year. But I did go almost a whole year of freeze drying before, and I kept it consistently going almost weekly. And I just, right when I took something out, I put something back in, whether it be bananas or strawberries or scrambled eggs. And I learned how to freeze dry those. And so that would be great to have, and on top of maybe any other random people that want to buy it. But I want to show you Broody Judy here. Her name isn't Judy, her name is Fluffers, but she is super broody and super cranky. Let's see where she is. She's super fat. Look how fat she is. She's just taking up that whole thing. She just does not. It's just so funny to kind of tease them about it. But it's kind of making a lot of the other chickens frustrated. I think that's part of it, is when one is broody, the rest kind of get frustrated. But look how many eggs I have underneath there. Look at that. Hey, girl. I'm gonna have to get those eggs, but if I put you on a tripod, I could take her out and show you how vocal she is. She gets really, and I think I might. Okay, it's just way too fun because she does need to get out. Part of them being broody, they don't eat and they don't drink, and so they're super cranky, and that's not cool. They need to do stuff. I want you out. Go over there. And my tripod fell down. Sorry about that. Okay, here she is. Maybe she'll squawk for you. She is just so fluffy. Look at you. You're so cute, Fluffers. She has the feathers all the way down to her toes. Anyway, she's not as cranky as I guess she was when my son took her out. So I'll go put her back. All right. Now I'm going to take you inside and we'll talk about General Conference a little bit, since I've given you kind of a look at what's going on out here. It's a little bit windy, but it's pretty warm. It's really nice. Spring is here and it's really fun. Maybe I'll show you what I've done. There she is. Now she's cranky. We have to go back and see this at least. I'm going to try and put in a garden. So that's what's going on around here. Now let's talk about General Conference. Unless you have something to say about General Conference. Do you? No. Chicken sounds just regulate my nervous system. They make me so happy. Now, General Conference. I went to the Saturday morning session of General Conference, and it was wonderful. I was able to go with my daughter and give her some one-on-one time, but with my two sister-in-laws and my one niece. My other sister-in-law just has boys, so it was us 5 going on a little girls' day to Salt Lake, and it was so cool to feel the energy of our global church. I love our church, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. I feel like these are the blessed times to be a part of. Think about all our pioneer ancestors and all of our church leaders and family that have worked hard to get us to a point where we can be a part of this wonderful church. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, was what we learned in General Conference, right? I need to wash my hands though for a second. So at General Conference on that Saturday morning and throughout the whole General Conference, I just felt like it was super ultra focused on Christ. All the talks focused on Christ, talking about him a little bit at least, and being very clear that we need to do better and be more prepared for the second coming, right? So I just felt like, for me, it gave me a boost. But I wrote on my sticky note, I wrote here, there it is. Oh, giving God a generous amount of time to him. And so not giving him just the leftovers, whatever we can just give extra, but it really is so important that we give our all. And I felt like that was really a consistent theme, and it's really about consecrating our life to God. And with me having a little bit more time right now with my family, taking some time, I thought about, okay, God, what do you want me to do to give more time to thee and to help build Zion. As I talk about here on this channel, we are to build Zion. And it really starts with relationships. And I think Christ does such a good job, does such a good job with that, and has and did. And we hear that about that in the Bible and in the scriptures, that he really focused on the one, but he had a relationship with them. So I've been just trying to take opportunities around my neighborhood to talk with people, or if I'm at the grocery store, just notice them and make little comments, at least of, just adoring their children for a second, or making eye contact, asking them how they are doing in their day. Those are the small things that really just change me. It's not really going to make a big difference in their life, but at least changes me to be someone that's more focused on others and not just on myself. And I was thinking about how everyone else has all these things they want to do. Think about for me and all the projects I want to do right now with spring coming up. But there's so many people that are wanting that exact same thing, and that I should be aspiring to help them in their endeavors. And how much more happy I'll be if I were to actually help them along, not just make it all about me. And I challenge you to do the same thing. Find a way to really step into someone's shoes and think about what's going on in their lives and their goals and dreams, what they're hoping to work towards, and they need your help. And I wasn't talking about this, but I guess this will be very along the lines with it. As I've talked about before, I've sometimes watched this one channel called Cinema Therapy, and it has a little bit of swearing sometimes. They bleep it out, but I still don't appreciate them just beeping it out, even just having it at all. But their stuff is, I just love learning and talking about movies in general, and drawing these moral lessons from movies, and especially Lord of the Rings. I wouldn't say I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd, but I do like the series, and sometimes it's hard to see all the battles and the gross orcs. But with Samwise Gamgee, the Hobbit, Frodo Baggins' best friend, he is the ultimate hero. He's not perfect. He is very mean to Gollum, and he's not necessarily that skilled, but his undying loyalty to Frodo and how great of a friend he is in helping him achieve his task and his goal. And that he also keeps a promise to Gandalf that he made. He's like, I made a promise, and I'm going to keep my promise. And how much more beautiful it is that it's more, he's trying to help him, and that's what we should be doing. We should be trying to help our fellow men in their endeavors and what they're doing. And there's this one part where Sam says, and it's at the very end where they're going to be throwing the ring in soon to the Mordor, into the fire, and that was the whole goal, is to go get this ring into the fire, destroy it forever, because it has too much evil power. And Frodo had to carry that. And but Frodo cannot go any further, and Sam has still a little bit of energy, and he's trying to comfort his friend and trying to get him through this hard time. And he talks about ways to help him manage through those suffering moments, talking about where they used to live before in the Shire, and talking about the strawberries and how beautiful they were and how delicious they were, and what the meadows looked like and the flowers, and it's just the green. It's just helping him go through that suffering and just alleviate a little bit of his pain, to paint that picture for him. And he's holding him in his arms. And then he realizes and says, I can't carry you, or can't carry this, but I can carry you. So that's exactly what some people are hoping that we'll do for them. And what God hopes for us to do is that, and especially with whatever hardship these people are going through, the ring could represent addiction. The ring could represent infertility. The ring could represent depression and anxiety. The ring could represent the death of a loved one. So whatever that person that you know and what they're going through, that you can't take it away from them. They have to go through it, and they have to learn it, and it is part of it, a part of our mortality. But you can at least help carry them through and lift some of that burden. And Sam picks him up, carries him, and he's just hobbling up the mountain with him on his back. And he's one of my favorite heroes in all of all movies. I think a lot of people can agree with that. That's because Lord of the Rings is probably one of the best movies ever made. They are just, the cinematography is beautiful. The cast, the music, it is a gorgeous film, and it's a few films, and of course they've made more and more and more. And I've talked about the Rings of Power series. I couldn't do it. Maybe I could, but at the time I was just thinking, this just feels too evil. But with Sam, he's a great example. He's kind of a savior figure a little bit in that way, and how Christ carries us through. And I think I'll end here with The Chosen, and helping me see a little bit more about who Christ is. The Chosen, I went and saw the next few episodes in the theaters, and it was last week was episodes 1 and 2. This week they're featuring 3, 4, and 5. Last week I saw it with my son, my 11-year-old son, and he loved it, and he thought it was great. Of course, some things went over his head because it is confusing, and there's some storyline in it that isn't just the Bible. They're trying to put some story in it. It's hard to go just strictly off the Bible. They had to have some artistic interpretation for the love of the creative project that it is. But part of it was on this week, 3, 4, and 5. It's right after he cleanses the temple, and him facing the Pharisees and calling them vipers, and they're hypocrites, and calling them out that their hearts are in the wrong place, and they're Satan's hands. They don't care about righteousness. They care about their image. They care about their ego. They do not care about their people. And they hated that, and they were so mad, and they, of course, looked for all these reasons to be able to put him up for death. Whereas the Roman government was like, no, let's not cause a scene, but they were going through with it anyway. The Jewish Pharisees, and all the whole Sanhedrin. And it's just interesting to see this political conflict between the Romans and the Pharisees, and then the actual Jews and the leaders, or the followers of Jesus at the time, that were very scared knowing that this could happen. And then, of course, the people that were against him, that thought he was a heretic. And so just putting ourselves in those shoes is just so interesting. And especially, I wanted to end with this idea of Christ had such eyes for, and had compassion for seeing the people. And there's this one scene where he's up on the mountain and he's looking at Jerusalem, and he says, "Oh Jerusalem, oh Jerusalem," and he's sobbing. And I lost it. I was crying so bad. I couldn't handle it. It was so good. But just seeing that there's so much wickedness in the world, and knowing that Christ really does care, and he's holding off. He really does love the children of God, us brothers and sisters of him. And so God does too. And that's why I feel like he's so close in this general conference. Just felt like this is getting so close to when he will be coming, and they're trying to prepare us for that. But God is still maybe holding out with whatever he has plans for, with bringing more and more people to him. That's why it hasn't happened yet. He really believes that more could repent. And I've been hearing some cool stories about people repenting, and it's just really cool. Like, there's a whole microcosm plan going on that we don't understand. But I am so grateful for The Chosen. I'm so grateful for Conference. Grateful to talk to you, and the means to do this here today. It was more of a loosey-goosey video. I didn't do the editing. It was blurry. Sometimes it was wobbly, and I'm sorry. So I apologize. But it's a little bit more of a vlog style today. But I just wanted to share with you my testimony, that I know that Jesus lives, and I know he loves us. He is waiting to come back and bring us into his arms again. And I'm so excited for that day when I get to do so, and I get to see him, and I get to share with him what I tried to do, but to also plead for him to forgive me, and to have and be ready for any advice more that he has to show me, and give me any more things that he has me to do. It would be so cool to have that conversation of what more can I do? How can I handle this? And I have those deep, like I talked about last week, I have those deep concerns in my heart, and questions of the gospel, questions of the soul, that is never going to be solved unless by my Savior. And I know he can. And I hope that you guys can have that faith to do that and can keep finding ways to serve others, seeing past our own projects and tasks that we need to do, but looking for others. So I need to practice this too. It's just it also creates you have to create a relationship with people to really even know what's really on their mind, what they're hoping for, what they're trying to achieve and accomplish, and that they'll even be willing to allow you to help them. So that's mainly where I'm at. I have to develop some relationships since I've not been here in this neighborhood for as long, but I plan on being here for a long time. This is my ward family, and we have to treat it like a family. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening to me, and we'll see you next time.